Now, another question is, how come your leaders are falling for that? Well, there's a very good answer, and I've been hearing it from different sources in Syria and around the world. When it comes to America, the answer is $100 billion and a private jet to your president. Turn the other eye, don't look around. Let Saudi Arabia tell you how things should be in the Middle East. Don't listen to Israel. Israel is the bad guy. We can tell you what we want. And it's very clear what they want. What they want is Syria to be under the control of the Sunnah. Turkey wants that, Saudi Arabia wants that, even Qatar wants that. So in that, Qatar is involved in everything. They're like, any bad thing happening in the world, Qatar is sponsoring it basically, including FIFA. So the worst thing that can happen to Islam, which is a globalizing religion, trying to conquer the world, ever expanding and going colonizing everywhere that it goes, is to give up land. Land is one of the most important things for their progress, for their dream to make planet Earth Muslim. And why is that? Because they divide the world to two. Dar al-Islam, Dar al-Harb. The house of Islam, the house of war. The house of Islam is any piece of geographical land that is under Sharia law. Extreme Sharia law or moderate Sharia law, depends on who's playing the cards. But any place that is not under Sharia law is the house of war. Hence, there's called a jihad, to go and conquer that place by war and to convert everyone in that place and make it a house of Islam. That's why you see Saudi Arabia, one day they're all against Palestine, because Palestine is Muslim Brotherhood, Qatar and etc., Al Jazeera, Muslim Brotherhood, they don't like them. But suddenly Donald Trump comes and says, we're gonna go and we're gonna buy Gaza. And then they go all out, no, 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 no. Israel is the evil guys. The Palestinians are innocent. They should have their country. They should have their land. Israel would never have peace with us unless Palestine is recognized. What happened? How did you change so fast from hating them and not supporting them to be full-on pro-Palestinians? It's about the land, and they keep fooling and paying their way around the world, and it's very hard to see how America is falling for that. The last administration seemed to have been bought by the Shias, and this administration seems to have been heavily compromised by Arab money from the Sunnis. It seems like America is waking up right now and realizing, oh my God, what have we done? Instead of listening to Israel, our ally, we're listening to the Muslims who tell us how the world should look like. Now that's about America. Now let's go about Europe. You see, Europe can't wait to get rid of Syrian migrants and many other Muslim migrants. But it's very hard to send them to a total war country because their humanitarian laws make it very difficult for them. The political correctness is literally killing Europe. And these Arab countries keep telling Europe, what do you think? We've sent you the garbage of our countries. So if you see these guys, and then you realize that they're not the garbage, there is more garbage, and they're living in your streets, in your neighborhood, in your universities. That's the Muslim migration that have entered Europe and the United States. Not all, but quite a lot. So now you realize that some of these guys, there's even worse of them in your countries, and Europe can't wait to get rid of them because they got tired of having, radical Muslim from Syria, Afghanistan, I don't know what, driving trucks into Christmas markets, running away, running over families, killing your children, raping your daughters, and etc., going Intifada revolution, Allah Akbar, on every place in Europe, and proudly saying that, and also scaring all the minorities, Jews, Druze, Christians, and etc. Christians are now a minority, but in some ways Europe forgot that they're Christians, so it seems like Christians are becoming a minority in Europe. That's kind of crazy. So Saudi Arabia comes and tells Europe, listen, turn a blind eye about Jolani. Let's pretend that he's a good guy. He has a blazer now. We told him to shave his beard, trim it a little bit. He looks like a hipster. He's the good guy. We're going to play our cards. Don't let Israel get involved because they're going to ruin everything. And then when we convince everyone that Syria is a good country now, we can lift up economical sanctions and we can start sending and deporting these migrants back to Syria. However, Europe, oh Europe, every time you're handed a key to the solution, an easy solution, you manage to mess it up. I'm living in a city right now where the government of Germany want to deport a Yazidi woman who's lived here all of her life almost and send her back to Syria. Do you understand how crazy that is? A Yazidi and a woman, send her back to Syria, who is run by ISIS. Why not send all these pro-Palestinians you're seeing in the streets of Berlin? You trust me, you don't want them in your country. Just go to a pro-Palestine demonstration or pro-Syrian regime waving posters of al-Shara, Jawlani, and ISIS terrorists and start taking names. I can tell you for sure. They're walking with scissors in the streets saying that they want to go and shave the beards of the Druze and kill them. Humiliate them just like the Nazis humiliated the Jews. These are the people that are walking in your streets. Send them away. Let me tell you a secret. Islam is not a minority. Druze are a minority. Jews are a minority. Copts are a minority. Armenians are a minority, Yazidis, Kurds, these are minorities. The free people of Iran are minorities. There's about 2 billion Muslims around the world. They're not a minority. Send them back to their countries. Trust me when I'm telling you, you're doing a big mistake. Do a proper filtering system, and if there's some of them that actually want to adapt Western values and don't want to implement Sharia law or be a bystander while they see their friends implementing Sharia law, then leave them in your country. That's great. These are great people. But how many are they? Do you even know? Do you have even a way to filter? You don't. That's how crazy that is.